What's up, chess people? Good morning. It is maybe good evening if it's like 4 in the morning for you, or earlier in some cases if you're from the west coast of the United States or somewhere in between. International Master William Paschall will be playing some blitz and classical chess here on lichess. We've got a challenge from Bob. We've got a bunch of challenges from our regulars. Where's my window? Alright, troll and a roll. Chess 960 is allowed today. Nefudov, everybody's here early. Mule Skinner, good to see you. And Bob. Alright guys, let's just get some chess underway here, and we'll just chat as we go through. It's my friend Gobix94 getting his rating higher finally. Alright, troll on a roll, 6+5, chess 960. It'll be interesting to see how the European Team Championship plays out. As I mentioned, Hungary had upset Russia, then they drew Armenia, so they have as good a shot as anyone to win the tournament. It's nice to see all the strong players, the top 3 from Hungary playing, getting Leko to play. It really hurt Hungary in the last Olympiad when Leko wasn't playing because they were playing in Armenia, not Armenia, in Azerbaijan. You can't have an Olympiad team without Leko. A lot of people who are younger don't realize how strong Leko is. He was like almost world champion, and for some reason he doesn't seem motivated at all. He's lost like over 100 rating points, and but it's not like he's a normal 2680 or something. You know, he's like a 2680 who used to be like 2770. It's really good to have that guy on your team. Alright, so G5 here. This is very similar to another game we had, troll and a roll. I feel like I'm getting the same starting position or something similar to it a lot against you. Another game against Aldisto was like almost the same exact setup. Chess 666. Aldisto did the same Grob type of thing against me. So we're playing like a closed Sicilian, but I have to say that those squares look a little weak to me, the white squares. My queen maybe should go to e2 here. But the rest of my pieces might have a little trouble getting out. We'll play like d3, bishop d2. It's not so bad actually. Queen e2 now loses its let's say temptation because of knight d4. I don't have that much experience playing chess 960. What do I have, like 100 games here? My friend Najgabor, I was just looking at his statistics. He's like over 2300, which is pretty good. Not that many people play chess 960, so it's not that easy to get your rating up, you know, over 2300. There just aren't that many people to play, as Troll can tell you. How am I going to castle now? Troll and a Roll is always begging me to play chess 960 in the simul. I'm doing a simul on Sunday. It's every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Central European time. This week, though, no team games, so I'll be fresh and ready to play a full 3-hour simul, 40-40 time control. That'll be the next stream after today. This is kind of a modest, close Sicilian style development here. Yeah, Troll, it's funny, I was thinking about you doing that. I mean, it seems weird. It's really odd that you played that because it's like a move that kind of goes against principles. Yet, for some reason I was concerned about it. It looks like I should just play f4. And you're almost like giving me tempi here. Not almost, I mean you are, right? If I don't play f4, he can clamp down on me, so I feel like it's almost like obligatory to play this. He'll clamp down with g4 and I'll be kind of frozen. Alright, I mean, I understand the knight d7 blocked your bishop on c8, so it does make sense to move that piece, I guess. But you are moving the same piece twice, right? Weird configuration. What was the move? Why did he go knight d7 anyway? Well, where else is he going to go? He could have gone to g6. That like seems somehow, so like the knight g6 seems a bit more natural to stop f4, and although it does get in the way of the rook on g8. Welcome everyone, good morning. What's up? Got some of our regular subscribers here. It was fun doing the subscriber stream. I like mixing like game analysis in with the blitz, you know, so it doesn't get monotonous. We're not doing the same thing constantly. I like to take a look at some of your games and get some new ideas. Blitz is good, but it's certainly not the only activity one should do to try to improve your game. That is the ultimate goal here, to help everyone, including myself, to get better at chess. This is as much for me as it is for you guys. I mean, I think it's helped me. You know, my rating hasn't improved in the like year and a half since I've been streaming, but I think I've gotten better. There's like no way I haven't gotten better. I mean, I'm thinking about the game all the time. I mean, I was the same rating around 2370 when I started streaming 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, and I wasn't playing at all back then, hardly. And I mean, I'm the same elo, but I feel like I've gotten a lot stronger. I could easily gain like 50 rating points. Bishop takes g4, and now I want to castle at some point, but I've got to get that bishop off my back. Knight e3. We could also try to trap his bishop. But I need the castle, which is kind of awkward. Good morning, Mule Skinner. What's up? I saw your challenge out there. You weren't here yesterday, right? Is it harder for you to make the evening streams? 7+3. Mule Skinner has played with us more than anybody, even more than Constant Change, who hasn't been making the streams lately. You've played 127 games, 127 games. To play 127 games with a significantly higher rated player, I mean, that has to improve your game. There's just like, even if I wasn't doing commentary of the games and stuff like that, it's got to significantly help you get better. There's just no way it doesn't. And I'm quite a bit higher rated. I mean, if I was just a little higher rated, it would still help you. Bishop h5. Yeah, that's the move that like prevents me from castling. Troll is doing this on purpose. He can castle, but I can't. That's kind of a problem here. Oh, man. There's the artificial castling with like c3 and king c2, which if I'm desperate, I might do that because it has certain benefits. All right, I'm getting low on time. It's a fairly fast time control. It keeps his knight off of d4 as well, so it kind of makes sense. We're going to force Troll to take some kind of desperate actions. You've noticed that the main difference between strong players and potzers like myself is the stronger players calculating much faster. Any ideas how to train to calculate faster? You know, I was just thinking about what makes the difference between strong players and weaker players, you know, and okay, I mean, there's different ways to state it. You're definitely right. But I was thinking another thing about, like, you know, center pawn loss and how, you know, how it feels to play weaker players and how sometimes like the weaker players seem really strong to me. I mean, I think that the differences are actually quite subtle, you know, in many cases. I like the way the Troll is playing this so far. But, you know, the main difference, right? It's like when you're playing a computer on lichess, how do you know it's a computer? I think that typically, like, they don't make mistakes. So in most cases, like, the master doesn't do anything fancy, you know. In the average case, he doesn't do anything fancy. He just doesn't panic. He doesn't make mistakes. You know, sometimes, of course, there are flashy combinations and stuff like that, but I really feel like the biggest difference between the strong players and the weaker players is that they don't panic, they don't make big mistakes. You know, they make small mistakes, but they don't make big mistakes as much. That's the difference between being 1400 and 1600. You know, the 1600s, make less piece, drops. I mean, they just like make less overt blunders. It's nothing like really much more complicated than that. There are more subtle factors at work, of course, as well. I was a little concerned if I could get myself castled and get my pieces coordinated in time to meet, like, troll on a roll, castling, and fighting for the G file. It's a really weird closed Sicilian. Of course, his bishop is finally answering some questions. It's like a Senate hearing. For the bishop on h5. Excuse me, Mr. Bishop. Your time has come. You've got to answer some questions. There's a calculation muscle you can strengthen from practice, absolutely. I mean, okay, I'm not really big on doing the tactics problems. Like Tricks only does streams where for me this would be really boring. He just does like problems on the stream and stuff. I also don't personally like the lichess problems because they don't really have like themes. I don't find them fun to do. It's just kind of like predict, Stockfish's move. That's not a real problem in the classic sense. So it's hard for me to do that as well. But what's going on here? We're actually just winning a pawn. Is there some sort of tactical justification to this? Probably not. I mean, it just looks like we're winning a clean pawn. Not like he had that many choices, to be fair. I mean, I guess he might have had to lose material. F6 is like horrifying to have to play that and block your bishop on h8, but maybe, I guess he could do that, right? Maybe that's better than losing material immediately. Anyway, I'm kind of avoiding the subject of answering Mule Skinner's question, like, concretely. Obviously doing tactics problems, but I like more classical tactics problems where you're like searching by theme. I really, if you can access it, like the old Encyclopedia of Middle Games by Chess Informant, is like a really good training tool. Problems like the old Chess Informant, well, there is still Chess Informant, I guess. So the Chess Informant theme of problems, where like the problems are categorized according to different themes, so you at least have like a clue of what you're looking for, whether it's like, whatever, overloading or removal of the defense. I mean, whatever the different categories of themes are. I had the Encyclopedia of Middle Games. That was an excellent tactics book to do problems with. All right. Let's just see what we're going to do here. Bishop takes c6. We can simplify, but I'm giving up a huge bishop if I do that. It seems kind of a pity. A pity, troll, to give up my huge bishop on h1. My god, I'm like hallucinating. Never mind, I can't give up my bishop on c6, can I? Yeah, I can. Alright. Whatever. We're a pawn up with a better structure. Yeah, we're winning. I mean, this should be winning. So I like problem, books that have a theme. Mule Skinner. That's an excellent way to improve. Also CT Art. Maxime's block like he's Latvian or something. Maxime Block's, the combination book and the software based on Maxime Block's combinations. Again, much better than like the kind of problems you'll find here on most sites. Obviously, Sheppy's right, If you just work on chess enough, all around, it's going to improve your board vision. So, I think that my speed of calculation is slower than a lot of strong players, but I'm pretty strong in other factors like in-game technique and just like general principles. So I compensate by being not as alert tactically as some strong players. I'm pretty good, obviously, but I don't focus on it, Nefedov, Mule Skinner and Bob. We hadn't managed to snipe 2 pawns, and that was enough for Troll on a roll. It wasn't a bad game for Chess 960, for me at least. Not one of Troll's best games. Playing with the stream on is no good. It's kind of like when I used to give Roman Gingiashvili, like, you know, hints during the game. It would always make him hang a piece or something. Yeah, it's not good to like have something else, like, you know, spouting ideas out at you. It just oftentimes confuses you. I would think turning the stream off is better for your concentration. Definitely. Unless you have multiple personalities, you know, and then like you probably tune one personality into the stream, and the other personality can focus on the task at hand. All right. Wow, Nefedov with e4, e5. Why am I saying wow, Nefedov with e4, e5? I got Nefedov confused momentarily with Mule Skinner. I was thinking Nefedov was Mule Skinner. I was like, Mule Skinner, you're not playing the French. What's up, man? Okay, I had an inspiring game. I had an inspiring game on Wednesday, you know, where I played a King's Gambit, and I wanted to see what Nefedov does. I didn't really want to see the Falkbeer. The Falkbeer is interesting because when I started learning chess, the Falkbeer was like kind of considered to be like second tier, like not really correct for black. Although I think John Nunn actually recommended, or like even played like takes and c6 in some games. I always mess this up for some reason. Queen h4 was a huge blunder, so he must have had some combination. I mean, I was looking for like bishop e2 or something. I didn't see that. So for some reason, whenever I play this position, I don't know why this is. I think I understand it though. I always, like against constant change and other players, did like knight c3 because it's like my intuition to bring the knight out first. But I guess it's kind of like classical principle that you're supposed to. That's a playable move, but it's second best. You're supposed to like challenge the strong pawn first. So I'm supposed to play d3 first. Is that right? This just gives the pawn back, doesn't it? Well, I guess it's not so simple, because if queen takes d5, you have tricks based on what? I don't know. Normally I do knight c3, but bishop b4. Does that seem right? No, I'm not sure. I may be talking shit, basically. It's weird. I don't understand what's wrong with queen takes d5. I guess I'll just have to look at this in depth after the game. I'm really like not sure I understand what the problem is here. Queen takes d5, queen e2. Is that it? I guess it is. I mean, it still seems like black would get some compensation. Anyway, this is like a pretty classic line, I think. I'm afraid that Nefedov like knows the theory and I don't, which could be a problem. Now knight c3, bishop b4 will transpose back to the other line. There's also, like, you could consider, I guess, playing queen e2 here. Which doesn't feel right. I don't feel right. I had this game in Blitz against a good friend of mine who was like a training partner of mine when even before I was a master, like probably around 19. Well, actually I was a master. I guess it was around 1990. I made master that year, and at least by USCF standards, I reached 2200. And I had a friend who was like just a little bit low rated than me, like mid 2100s. We used to play this line, but I think yeah, there was this variation, but I don't remember it now. It's just like 27 years ago. Queen e2. Is that it? That's it, right? Queen e2. It is queen e2, isn't it? Queen e2. Bishop d6 or bishop c5. No, I'm not sure anymore. Huh. He definitely didn't play that. I think there's a line where you can like sack a piece temporarily. I'm not sure what the theory is here. Nefedov probably knows it. You know, if I was really a wimp, I could like trade queens with queen b5 check and offer a draw or something. If anything, black is better there though, because like the f pawn is an overextension. I need to try to get something going on here. So knight c3, bishop e4, bishop d2, I guess. I don't think I really like this too much. Is it knight d2? I'm going to run out of time. Queen e2 appears inaccurate. Oh no. Well, what am I supposed to play? Like bishop e3 or something? There are other moves. Bishop e3 and knight f3. I don't know, sir. Silver Spoonster. Knight c3 first. What are you talking about, dude? His knight's on e4. He's gonna take my knight, man. Alright. Anyway. I don't know. Knight f3. Knight f3 first. Maybe. I can't remember, as I said, it's been so long ago. I'm not sure what that would really change, though. Knight f3. I mean, he just plays like bishop c5. Okay, then what? Knight f3, bishop c5. I'm not sure, man. It's just, I still haven't moved. Oh, he played f5. I was much more worried about bishop f5 here, you know? Is there something wrong with that? Because, like, f5, at least positionally, I think I have a decent game. By forcing him to take on e4, I'm kind of like, you know? Alright, where's his knight heading? Let's see. Pawn's not going anywhere, but I've got to maintain a good blockade. As well as develop my pieces, so it's kind of tricky, like, getting everything done here. Nefedov with a huge time advantage. I mean, he may still be in book, but I feel safe, at least, that I got the queens off the board. It's an endgame. I was more concerned about queen, you know, as I said, bishop f5, just trying to maintain control of the square with the pieces rather than with the pawn. We just need to get our pieces out. f4 is going to come under pressure. I'm a very prophylactic player. Yeah, you can't take the time with you to the grave, man. If you don't use your time, you're doing yourself a disservice. The Egyptians buried all their stuff with them. I don't know if it helped them in the afterlife or not, but I'm not taking a chance. I'm going to use my time while I need it. That's the point of having an increment, you know. If this was a sudden death game, I would leave myself like more time in the time bank, but here it's just not necessary. Plus, you have the added benefit that a lot of people like step on their own feet when they, see you're in time pressure. Countless people I know just sort of disintegrate. All right. Yeah, I like my game here. Not that easy to round up the pawn on e4. But it's a very awkward position for his bishop. He's probably going to just lose that pawn. I can play f5. If bishop g6, bishop takes g3, pawn takes g6. Nefedov played too fast, which he doesn't always do. Some people like do this all the time. Okay, g6 is probably a good try here. But I'm not sure. I think, yeah, this probably was right. I mean, I didn't have takes f5. Okay, I have a lot of moves I can play. I'm just kind of running out of time, so I have to just cut down on the commentary a little bit here. We should at least win a pawn somewhere along the line. My technique is good enough that I don't need more than 3 seconds in technical situations. I want to use my time, and then I can just play in unclear situations where I don't really know where I'm at. In a rook endgame, I don't need more than 3 seconds a move, or some kind of, very typical attacking situation. Unfortunately, he's probably going to hold this. I can't hold onto the pawn now. We got lucky. Maybe I could hang onto the pawn. Kind of an unpleasant surprise for black. Bishop takes f4 wasn't possible. But he probably could have played something else. Rook f8 maybe. Well, I'm still winning a pawn. Bishop g4 check and g3. So maybe I did win a pawn at the end of the day. But obviously he has good drawing chances with opposite-colored bishops and rooks. It's a very complicated kind of endgame. So, another lesson on clock usage. Trouts are slippery. Trouts, did we get an answer? Is Trouts trout in German as well? I'm just assuming. Bob, I'm scared of what's coming next in your conversation. Let's keep it clean, okay? Nefedov, what happened? Nefedov sometimes has connection problems. This may not be just out of anger. I think he just might have gotten disconnected. It's a convenient moment to get disconnected. Alright, he resigned. Let me see. We'll see if Queen e2 was inaccurate. Yeah. Apparently this is, according to the opening book anyway. Though Shirazi played it. That's always a good sign. If g4 were a move, Shirazi would play it. But actually, it is apparently like the second best move for white, so at least I'm in a good place there. Okay, bishop e3, maybe, yeah, maybe it's better than bishop e3. No, third best move by me. Knight f3. By the way, what happens if, I was talking about this queen takes d5. To me, I mean, queen takes d5 seems more natural. It's not so simple, huh? So knight f6. Yeah, I mean here knight takes e4, queen e2. Okay, so I'm supposed to play knight f3, and then bishop c5. I was thinking of a different line somehow. Oh, bishop c5, queen e2, castles. Isn't that it? I guess not. Queen takes e4, rook e8, knight e5, f6. No games in this position. Apparently this is just bad for black. Okay. So I don't know. I need to learn my theory in this opening. I don't really play the King's Gambit, but I thought it would be fun. Something different. So nobody's played queen takes d5. That's weird. Everyone plays bishop f5 right away. Despite the fact that queen takes d5 is the best move according to Stockfish. Huh. I'm sure that there's room for improvements in theory in this opening, man. I mean, nobody plays the King's Gambit practically at the top level, or at any level. Nefedov plays queen takes d5. It's actually better than the book move. Well, 3 games does not constitute a book move. My friend Paul McIntyre played black back in 1997 against this fish. Alright. Bishop f5. What's wrong with bishop f5? Alexander Printsev. Printsev was 2470. What? In what rating system? Anyways, guys, that was interesting. A lot to look at there. I'm going to have to research it. Silver Spoonster, I have no idea what you're talking about. Alright. E4. I guess we'll battle in our favorite domain, the Sicilian Grand Prix attack. I think I experimented with A6 last time. I can't remember. How many challenges do I have pending? I try to play the subscribers first, so it's not like first challenge gets to play. 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you are a subscriber, I will accept the challenges prior to other non-subscribers. And I want to thank you guys for subscribing to the stream. Every little bit helps to support the effort and keep me able to do this. So obviously, I'm not a trust fund baby. Knight f3, bishop g7. I mean, you know, historically, a lot of the best chess players are wealthy. You know, I was wealthier when I was winning in poker, but that is not happening any longer. So we've switched back to chess due to perpetual brokenness. Okay, bishop b5 here is Muleskinner's favorite variation, but he's been mixing it up. He played bishop d3. Forever he was playing castles in this position. There he goes back to his normal stuff. So, yeah, Muleskinner, I wanted to play this and then try out something I'm not sure I ever played against you. Normally I leave the knight on b5, but I'm just going to do the extended fianchetto, and then the main point is to quickly get my bishop to b7 to try to make this piece really count in the ensuing position. Ayesta, what's up? Silver Spoonster is asking about some game, dude. Like, from 4 years ago or 5. I don't know, when did I play that game, man? I would have no idea. It sounds like a very standard plan in the English. It's a game in lichess. Oh, I played a game here. Sorry, I thought it was this. I thought it was this. I thought it was the game against King Crusher that he put on his YouTube channel a few years ago. It was a game here. Yeah. So, well, I mean, obviously, I don't remember games from like, you know, a year ago or whenever it was, but 6 months ago. It's like a totally standard plan. Yeah, that's like extremely standard. I've also seen people go knight, you know, in the English, the white side of the English, you can sometimes play like knight f3, d2, f1, e3. That's another maneuver if you haven't castled already. But yeah, it's like pretty standard. Any kind of expert in English will tell you that's very normal. I've only played that guy, King Crusher, like maybe 3 games in my life. Queen e1. Right, this is all the standard plan. I haven't committed to castling kingside yet. So, Queen e1 looks like a good move. I'm not sure if I want to just even weaken my kingside at all by playing, say, e6. I'm sort of thinking about something else, like d6 and queen d7. This is the first time, one of the first times I've done this. But I just want this bishop to work out, maybe even castle queenside in some positions. But I can't just ignore my kingside development, so it's a little bit tricky. Feels like d6. We just have to go with the intuition sometimes and stop trying to calculate and just trust your soul, your chess soul. d6 feels right. How do you subscribe? I guess all chess players have to be arrogant to be good. Well, not really, but to some degree. At least you have to have like ego, you know. Everybody has to have some ego. Kasparov is like the worst. You know, he's extremely big ego. Probably a lot of grandmasters are. You kind of need it, you know, to win, I think. Some people need a certain amount of ego anyway. It doesn't have to be like out of control, but you got to believe in yourself strongly. If you don't, it's going to be hard to succeed. If you're like a super genius, like Anand, you know, there are some people who are just off the charts in terms of genius. And I mean, like, okay, maybe Vichy is like a really nice guy and you can live without the killer instinct, but usually like the killer instinct helps people to be strong. So you do see a lot of egotism with strong players. All right, now basically I don't want to touch anything, except maybe I'll think about taking on f5 at some point to open up my bishop on b7. That's definitely possible. I'm trying to play this kind of in a hyper-modern way. Queen d7. And we could get away to the... it's like a vacation commercial. Get away to the queen side. I always tell the story how I played this guy at the Boylston Chess Club in a like weekly tournament once back in the early 90s. Where I was actually white in a Grand Prix attack, and he did something like this, except it was like bishop b5, bishop takes c6, and bishop d7, bishop takes c6. But it was basically the same thing where he wasn't castled. This guy, I remember he was an expert, Timothy Hankey, and he was like 2100, so he was decent, and I was probably like, I don't know, 2300 something. But he castled queenside, and I was sitting there on the white side of the Grand Prix attack, like having a really hard time figuring out how the heck, you know, I'm supposed to like play this position where he's not castling on the side where I'm set up to attack him. You know, and eventually, I guess maybe I won, I don't remember. It might have been a win or a draw, but I actually eventually got in some kind of queenside break with like a3 and b4. So I just remember how weird it was, like trying to attack black on the queen side from the white side of the Grand Prix attack. E5 is no good. White's kind of in a frozen cryosis here, where he doesn't really know what to do. You know, he's like, well, what do I do next? Cryogenic attack, where it's not obvious like what he's supposed to do now. I think that taking on f5 might become a real threat for me. Normally it's like suicide for black to take on f5 in the Grand Prix attack, but in this case where I'm not castled on the king side and my bishop's going to open up on the long diagonal and I'm going to castle queen side potentially, taking on f5 could become like a really legitimate plan. I don't know Lenderman at all, except like when I played him when I had food poisoning. We started the game and played like 20 moves, and then I had to like resign because I was like going to die. Lenderman was only like 2100 back then. F takes g6. Yeah, it's weird to take on g6. I'm really happy to see that. You know, you're obviously opening up my rook on h8. I just don't think that that's the right idea. But we may be, you know, in the midst of discovering like a good system for black in this line. I've played like a bazillion games with Muleskin already. We must have played 20 games in this variation, and I've tried pretty much like every possible configuration after grabbing the bishop on b5 with knight takes b5, knight takes b5. One day, like a month or two ago, I was sitting there thinking like, why don't I just do like a6, b5, and bishop b7? And it looks like it's like a pretty good plan. And we've got bishops on both diagonals. Now he's taken on g6. There is even like queen g4 maybe. That would be a bit weird though. Lots of possibilities here. I'm kind of leaning toward developing my pieces with knight g4, but e5 is a bit disruptive. Although e5, knight h5 isn't all that clear, is it? I feel like I'm playing the Schmid-Benoni or something. It's so fluid for black. It's like a car, the car structure. I joke about this sometimes, where it's like shaped like a car, but the front of the car is like damaged here on g6. No, I'm not smoking any kind of dope. I just, I probably was when I came up with that concept. I'm certainly as arrogant as the next person at times, and some people say I'm really arrogant, you know, but it's all a matter of perception. You know, it may just be like you're like projecting that on that person. How you feel that day, you know, you feeling really like put down, someone else is going to come off as being really arrogant, right? Perception versus reality. Oh, Mule Skinner, why did you have to play that, man? Damn it. That was the one move I just really was like not really hoping for. Stopping the knight from coming to g4. Now e5 looks like it probably becomes an idea. How am I going to open up the position? You could actually, I could actually probably almost castle kingside now. b4 moves the knight, and then d5. Transitioning the structure to something totally different. Well, I'm running out of time, so I don't know if this is right or not, but well, we have like some really simple ideas, more English, standard English type of stuff, hitting b2. That's why he went to d2. Still, it's a pretty solid position for white. Oh, well. He's going to bounce his knight through, like, e3. He also might have e5, but it's very committal to do that. Good positional play. Well, this is a surprising move. Alright, it's basically a blitz game. I don't know. I'm just going back to intuition again. Maybe I should exchange on c3 first, but I didn't want to open up the file for his rook, you know, along the b file since I'm not castled yet. I'm one move away from castling kingside at the convenient moment, at a convenient moment, but I just thought the b file could possibly benefit him, but probably not a big deal, you know. So maybe I should just simply chop on c3 and then play c4. That would be a little cleaner, maybe. Here I'm thinking about like sacrificing my b4 pawn, but we're getting a more important quarry. Undermining the center. I don't really have any tactical ideas. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. I was threatening bishop d3, rook f2, knight e4, like winning the exchange there. Looks like he's kind of falling apart. His structure is a disaster. Here we go with the time again. I'm only winning one pawn. Once again, like, I don't really want to castle kingside, but I'm a little bit short of time there. Oh no. Whoa. Damn it, Mule Skinner. Stop playing so well, man. And fast. I had bishop d4 check last move. Just keeping the structure. Oh no. What am I doing? Should have played rook c4 there. Now it's almost certainly lost. Still not that easy, I guess. Alright, man. Complete game. Opening, middle game, and end game. See if anybody's done this. Player I've never heard of with Hungarian-like name. Veshe Pavel. Okay, that's 100% correspondence game. Veshe Pavel. It's like a Hungarian name with a different kind of first name. This guy Stepansky is definitely correspondence. Man, like all these games are like correspondence games. There's probably some kind of correspondence thematic tournaments, and then that's where all these games appear from. I think there's like, what is it? The ICCF has correspondence opening tournaments where like you have to play the first set some number of moves. And that's why these games show up in the database. Hey, little penguin, what's up? Couldn't you play f5 instead of rook fe8? Long time no see. Where you been? Any tournaments lately? Alright, you missed the subscriber stream yesterday. Thank you guys for subscribing, though. We'll take a look at f5. You know, I didn't realize these games even existed. I suspect at least 2 or 3 of them. Probably not these. Is this guy real? Dombrowskis? Maybe. These may be real games. Wow, there's more games. Vinay Bat versus Booyan Chi. Nice. Vanquisher of Magnus Carlsen. I like this setup for black. Now f5. This is what Vinay Bat played. The great Vinay Bat. Just the American I am who disappeared from chess. Alright, like so many before him. Here we played knight f6. No, we played queen e7 first. This is a novelty. Everybody else played knight f6 here, which is certainly good as well. Okay, Mule Skinner shouldn't take on g6 there. That's not really best. c3 was a bad move positionally. Then we're just like winning. So you made 2 positional mistakes, Mule Skinner. But anyway, like I kind of let you back in the game here, big time. And she was saying f5. Damn, yeah. I was so blinded by the fact that I had 11 seconds left that I stopped looking for. I mean, f5 hadn't really been a theme for a long time, so I hadn't thought about it. But yeah, of course, it wins a piece. It's like if you ask a spectator to see a move like that, they see it instantly. But it hadn't been a theme like the whole game, playing f5. And that when that happens, like you just don't have it on your radar. Just if I was more of a tactical minded player, I would have played it instantly, of course. Yeah, it just wins a piece. Do you ever do instructional stuff? Would love to learn the ins and outs of Queen C2 Slav. Well, I wouldn't say it's a specialty of mine. I'm just playing it since last year, but you know I probably know a little bit. I wouldn't call something really a specialty till I've played it in numerous tournament games, which is not the case with that line, Queen C2 Slav. But I played it a lot online, but mostly like against weaker players and here on lichess. Yeah, I'd like to have more time to make like opening videos and stuff for my YouTube channel, but it takes a lot of work. Alright. What's up next? We've got challengers from subscribers and others and friends. Little Penguin, as a viewer, you don't have to make any decisions, so there's no stress. Yeah. Yeah, it's always easier when you're a spectator. But I think in that case, it wasn't that... I was basically at the point where I couldn't calculate anymore. I just kind of... I'm not a good bullet player, so I don't really try to play bullet anyway. But I tend to panic more than I used to when I have like under 10 seconds or something. It actually hurt me last year in Zalakaros, where I was down to my increments against one really strong GM, and I just sort of panicked really unnecessarily. Oh. I forgot we don't have a moderator today. Sorry about that troll. Wonder where he got his name. Man, it's pretty hot in here. I may have to change into something more comfortable. I've got like this thermal shirt on. I'm trying to move twice in a row again. Still not awake, guys. It's the reverse Grunfeld. Thanks for the heads up, Bob. Five card draw. 5-card draw. I used to play 5-card draw on a video game. Video game in like 1985. Bob, that's a really weird move. That is a really weird move, dude. Kind of weakening the long diagonal. You're just asking for me to do something violent here. The C4 has to be strong, no? Feels strong. It's like a Grunfeld. It is a Grunfeld. I'm playing the Grunfeld with an extra tempo. Bob played B6, which is pretty dangerous. It may be too late for him to counter my pressure on the long diagonal here. But maybe not. I hate calculating. Well, we've got a couple different approaches. We can take on D5 and then play knight C3. I would anticipate some kind of weird variation like C takes D, Queen takes D5, Knight C3, Queen H5, and maybe D5 castles queenside, which looks absurd for black, but not like possible to refute like instantly out of hand. Let's see if we have anything better. Taking on C5. He has to take on C4 in response, and then we might have some strong moves like Queen A4 there. But for example, D takes C5, D takes C4, Queen A4, Queen D7. It feels like I need one more move to do any kind of really serious damage to black, like castles, and then I'd have Rook D1. Yu-Gi-Oh helped my chess. There was this really good really good poker pro on PokerStars, Yu-Gi-Oh Pro from South Korea. I played quite a few tournaments with him. Oh man, what is Yu-Gi-Oh exactly? I thought it was... Is it a game or it's just like a character or what? I don't know. C takes D, Queen takes like brings his queen out, and the other variation takes Queen A4. I'm developing pieces. Queen D7, then Queen takes C4. It's got to be better for white. I mean, both lines are better for white. CD5, queen d5, knight c3, queen h5. Now d5. He could play castles queenside. I want to sack my queen. I can almost sack my queen. I would castle there. I don't know. Both lines are good. It's very hard to decide between the two. I'm getting a headache trying to decide. It's also possible to castle, but then knight takes. No, then he can play knight takes d4. Oh, it's an anime. It has a card game, which they play seriously. Which they play in the series Magic the Gathering. Okay. Good idea. There is one take back for stream for you guys. We should give 2 to the subscribers. Bob played queen d7 though. I'm expecting the more aggressive. I was definitely expecting, you know, queen h5. So here he's... I mean, everything is bad for black, but at least queen h5, on some practical level, he might have some tricks. I think here he's just in a lot of trouble. Again. Not a good opening, Bob. b6 is not playable, I guess. It just gives white a clear advantage straight up. In this version, he can't castle queenside. In the other line, he can castle queenside. I can't sack my queen yet. Now, we have knight e5. Knight e5 doesn't win by force, though. He can move his queen and play queen f5. It does look vicious for white, though. The queen a5 threatens knight c2 check. I'm starting to stutter like Alexander Ivanov now. When Alex would get excited, he was like, ugh, stuttering. When he started to talk so fast that he couldn't control himself. Alright. Grandmasters are funny people. Anyway, knight e5, queen f5, queen a4 check. King d8, and I don't know what to do. He's got a double threat on my knight on e5 and the c2 fork. Awkward moment. So I probably have to play e4, but it's alright. We just have a great space advantage. No immediate knockout. Now, oftentimes I'm saying, like, to people that you shouldn't play too fast. There are exceptions, maybe, like if your position is hopelessly lost, and your only chance would be, you know, to confuse the opponent. In that case, it might be a good idea to play extra fast. But only if you were, like, hopelessly lost. Stutter imitation. No, it wasn't good. It was awful, but you have to hear Ivanov, you know, Ivanov doing it. When he gets excited, he's like, just one of my closest friends amongst grandmasters, and a person who I know really well. I've interacted with him so many times, like in conversation. Not to bust on people who stutter, but Alex doesn't really stutter. He just does it when he gets excited. He's basically trying to talk so fast he can't, like, get the words out fast enough, and then they start tripping on each other. I just reminded myself of him when I did that. Now it looks like black is going to get crushed at this point. Everything is good. It's like Aronian versus Ivanchuk or something. Bishop f4, knight e5. Which one first, though? There's also his knight on b4, which I can kick away. Kick away. Maybe we should get it out of my face. Get the knight out of my face. A3. Maybe you should sacrifice a piece here, Bob. Try something desperate. Or are you gonna go back? Okay, he plays the solid move. I just don't see a forced win yet. I mean, I'm just not fast enough with the calculation. Oh, man, there's no insta-win. I gotta be careful he doesn't like sneak away with castles queenside when I'm not expecting it or something, and then like suddenly it's not that easy to beat him or something. Unfortunately, I still don't have any kind of immediate material win, and I burned up most of my time. I guess he could play queen c8 here. I wasn't really looking at that. That would take away the queenside castles possibility. Just started playing bullet. It's horrible. I guess it's like any sort of drug addiction. You know, you gotta like keep it in check. Get it? Keep it in check. I mean, queen a4 check. Like, I guess the classic, well, anything in moderation is okay kind of thing, like, applies to playing bullet as well. If you really can control yourself, and not only play bullet and not get carried away with it, I guess it's okay, But the thing is, like, most people get addicted to it, and then that's mostly all they do, and the rest of their game never really gets better. Look at Bob hanging on here, man. Master of defense. This looks like the game I lost. I felt like this when I lost against Lucky Kentucky last night. That guy's pretty strong. I don't know who it is. I'm getting confused between two different Serbian players who had played me previously. But anyway, like, the whole game I was under pressure and I thought I was lost, but I wasn't until the very end when I it's so funny how you think you're suffering, how you think you're losing, and it's like hopeless, and like I was never losing the whole game till the very end when I had gotten out of all danger. So it's just funny. Bob, master of defense. Damn, dude. Seriously, the master of defense. This is driving me crazy. What would Mamedyarov do? I'm gonna lose on time? Jeez. I almost lost on time. I guess like any move is okay for white, except for losing on time, basically. Bob is down with the Egyptian burial system. Take it to the grave with you. Bury me with my time. But I will give him credit for defending a really ugly position pretty well. almost flagged me. He's still only, what is he down? Only down 1 pawn. Oh no. It's kind of dangerous to do that. I almost played f4. I guess I can do f4. But Bob is really... You defended almost indefensible position. I really wanted to take with a pawn. I'm not sure if I should or not. Guess it doesn't matter now. Oh no. Major mistake, Bob. I don't think you should go backward with your king there. I definitely messed up endings like this on the stream before. I'm gonna screw this up. Bob, your bullet chess has gotten better. Resign now. I can't believe you resign now. You're playing b2 here, and you're resigning now. What a weird moment to resign, just when it's getting interesting. So let's see, b2, queen. Oh, I have e8, knight check. e8, knight check. No, like, let's see, queen. I'm surprised Bob resigned there. I could definitely lose on time. Queen. I didn't see a forced mate. It's no way you should resign there, Bob. Alright. I'm winning. It's mate in 20. I saw it. I'm winning your queen immediately. Okay. I guess I would have found it. But I had like 15 seconds left. Damn, Bob. Weird moment to resign, though. Like, seriously. Alright, Trouts. What's up, guys? I'm playing all the subscribers who challenged me, and then Phil Ivy's challenged me. Well, sorry about that Punto Banco case or whatever. Phil Ivy like lost his £7 million or something. When, you know, for his cheating in casino games. Card card analyzing scam. Bob, you could have been a legend. Bob did beat me at least once. Trouts is playing Grunfeld, I think. I've definitely messed up rook innings. I recently messed one up just like that. Recently. A few weeks ago, there was some kind of like ridiculous endgame on the stream where I had 2 connected pawns and just committed suicide. 5-card draw, I figured. You were Phil Ivey. Makes sense. The poker reference. B takes C. We had this yesterday in a game, not against Trout, somebody else. Oh, Clash Kid. Clash Kid played the pawn grab variation. C5, rook b1, CD, queen a5 check. And he ended up playing this line that's reasonable, but kind of rare. Guys, Sunday I'm going to be doing my simul on lichess. It's 6:30 p.m. CET. Kave. In Hungarian, it's kave. Egy kave, kérek szépen. You guys, I can do the stream in Hungarian if you want. Jó reggelt. Good morning. Skip 5-card. 5-card draw is not a subscriber. Well, anyway, you're still like second in the list of non-subscribers. So Trouts plays the old... No, something's wrong here. No, this is right? D5, bishop takes c3 check, bishop d2, take, knight d4. Yeah, this is like Korchnoi Stoll or some game that was in Informator like 20 years ago. I have a good score with this variation. Better is knight e5. I mean, safer to play knight e5 here for black. Knight e5 is fine. I have lots of games in that line. But taking on c3 is really risky. I lost to Ilya Gurovich in the rapid tournament once. In this main line with knight e5. Another great player who quit playing chess. He won the World Junior Championship and then quit chess a couple years later. He's not the only one to do that. It seems like a trend. You know, if you can win the World Junior Championship, like, chances are you're good enough to like be like not just an average grandmaster, but probably like a top GM. And you'd think like people would at that point stick with chess, but money is money, and they go into like a job in the banking or financial sector. Ilya was, I think he was just a couple years older than me. D5. Remembering the shopping list. Tell us how I ended up living in Hungary. Well, I have a pretty long history with Hungary. I mean, I've been coming to Hungary since 1996. I played in 1996. I came to a tournament here in the summer, and then I decided to play for the IM title. I played a bunch of IM tournaments in '97 and 1998, and I made my IM title. 2 of my norms I made in Hungary in 1997 and 1998, and then this is a main line Trouts, by the way. So Hungary had a good allure to me. It was really kind of cool in that time. with the fall of communism in the 90s and the late 90s, particularly when Hungary was really starting to recover. It was an awesome place to be. But you know, I don't feel like it's made a lot of progress since the late 90s, but it has become more commercialized in certain senses, though. Much different here than it was. I liked it a little better in the late 90s than now, but it's still cool. Still a cool place to be. And well, there's just like lots of chess. You can, you know, originally I came here to play chess, so that is not really a normal move. The essential move is e6. And after f4, Ilya played bishop h8 against me, which is, that's the old recommendation from like the early 90s. And it's supposed to be better than bishop g7 because of some weird tactical lines. After f4, though, the modern move is bishop c7, which has usurped bishop h8 as the main line. So both e6, f4, bishop h8, and bishop c7 seem to be pretty good for black. Both sides have to know a lot of theory. But I'm not sure what the latest developments are. Now Trout's just getting rolled, basically. Once you let me get in like f4, e5, and c4, you have a bad game. The central pawn mass is extremely strong for white. I'll just play like c4 and trade off his Fianchetto bishop. Get a rolling pawn mass. You got to play e6 like Ilya did to try to mess with my center before it has time to like gel and coagulate into like a really strong, solid formation that can't be stopped, like Space Invaders. So once I get into Space Invaders here with like c4, it's pretty nasty for black. Just thinking about one thing here. Bing, bing, bing. Maybe I'm better off castling first. Does that make a difference? c4. Well, it's worth thinking about it for a second. Is it better to castle first or play c4? If I castle first, he could play c4 himself, theoretically. Probably just drops pawns to like rook b4, though. Nope. Yeah, I guess this is more thematic. Like a Korchnoi-Karpov game with Queen's Gambit Decline. What? Going back in history, Benko Leko Polgar. Benko's still alive. I haven't seen him in a couple of years, but he's around sometimes. You might run into him at the Hungarian Chess Federation. You know, he lived in the United States forever and then moved back probably like 15 years ago. e6, better late than never is Strauss's philosophy. I'm not sure. I could play d6 and then e5. I'm sure just castles is okay. Bishop e2 is even playable. But I do kind of need the castle to get my king out of the center at some point. I guess as long as he doesn't have something funky like, well, he might have bishop d4 check at some point. Take, bishop d4 check. Well, it's better not to worry about everything out of my control. I can't predict every move he's going to make. He could also try taking and playing like c4, mobilizing his own passed pawn. In that case, I probably should have voted for bishop b2. Oh, get that out of there. Alright, rook d8. Logical move. He's trying to put pressure on the center. Just that the center is very, very strong for white. No, I think ultimately he would need to get in f5 somehow. to break up my center. I'm not that big an expert with this line, unfortunately for me. If I was, I wouldn't have lost to Ilya. Even back then, in the mid-90s, the theory was already pretty well established. This opening was like extremely popular between like 1990 and 1995. Probably that was the most trendy. This was the most trendy variation in the Grunfeld. Now they're looking at other lines mostly. This line is not as commonly seen for white. It seems like black has adequate counterplay. I need to redefine my opening theory in the Grunfeld. All right, we'll just mobilize the rest of our pieces here. Trout's doing a good job of damage control, though. He's not going under. Putting some pressure on my center, trying to make it work. You know, I could have played e5 there. Pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, rook takes d5, bishop f3, and win the exchange. That might be enough for a technically winning position, but he might, you know, with the pawn for the exchange, he might be able to put up some resistance. But I should have considered it, I guess. If I can play e5, d6 yesterday, you guys might have seen my game with Clash Kid. He actually had like a rolling queenside majority, but my pass pawn, like a protected pass pawn on d6 was too strong. Very similar type of stuff going on here. From South Africa. Yeah, it's kind of sad, like in the West, we never really learned very much about like African, you know, history and development, and I think that like I have no clue about, you know, the whole continent of Africa. We're just not taught anything about it, almost, at least back in my generation. Maybe now it's different. I feel like that's the one continent of the world I know almost nothing about. I had a really, really cool English professor from South Africa. He was like my favorite professor in university. Rook on BD1. I played a couple South African players, Watu Kobese and Dion Solomons have come and played in Budapest. There was another player too, I think. Quite a few South African players have been through here, playing in the tournaments. I know those guys are two of the older, veteran title players. Now Trout's just committed like Hiri Kiri. It's over. Never do that, Trouts, unless unless I can't take on d5. Man, this is gonna be ugly. This is utopia, basically, for white. Even if I'm not winning a queen. This is what you don't want to allow. So, until f5, you still had a little bit of hope. But it was pretty difficult, dude, strategically. So, if we go back here to move 12, this is a really, really well-known theoretical position. Apparently, you can play b6 as well. I didn't know that. Aronian versus Vacher. So nobody's played this line since like 2013. It's basically in the cryo state. Yeah, e6. Okay, so it looks like computers like b6. Maybe the modern computers invented this move. You have to play e6 right away, then f4. And yeah, it's funny about Ilya's bishop h8. It never really caught on. So more players play bishop g7 for some reason, but there was some deep analysis. But once bishop c7 started getting played, it just never really, nobody looked back after that. I think it's just really important to control the d6 square. That's why it's better to retreat the bishop to c7. Plus, sometimes it pops out here on a5. All right. So who else do we have? We have one more subscriber, Ananas. Then we'll play a couple other guys. You have in Germany 92 GMs and 262 IMs. Oh, Dion Solomons was your coach. Oh, that's cool. He's a very nice guy. Very, how to say, like, seems very dignified. Knight f3. I lost to Kobese in a game. I don't remember. I think I might have had like a win and a draw against Solomons. d4. There was another South African player I lost to. I can't remember the name now. All right. The Queen's Gambit declined. Ananas. Did you witness the destruction of... Oh, I know the game now. It was Mamedyarov against this guy, what is his name? Oh, it's some not so famous GM. Mamedyarov just decimated a guy in the European Team Championship. I can't remember Black's name now. So c6 though, that's not what Black played. They castled. The c6 lines I know less here. But somehow, I don't know, c6 doesn't seem as ambitious as Black trying to play c5, but it's quite solid. Should I waste time with rook c1? Ananas, I never play bishop f4. Should I exchange on d5? I don't know any theory. I'm just playing this on a lark. I'm tired of bishop g5. I'm looking for a new system again against the Queen's Gambit, basically. I'm not supposed to play a3, am I? At some point. Rook c1 almost looks like a waste of time. It's really hard to get an advantage against the stuff. It's so solid for Black. Man, I don't know. Yeah, we borrow a lot of words in Hungarian from the German, especially for vegetables and stuff like that. How do you say lime in German? There's no word for that? It's one of those weird tropical fruits that there's no word for. There's like no word for it in Hungarian. They don't know what to call it. It's funny. He's explaining his name. Rook e8 now. Limoen. They kind of... It's funny. I don't know what to call it when I go to like the vegetable store. They can't say lime. Like that pronunciation doesn't sound right in Hungarian. Probably in a lot of languages it sounds really weird. Alright, I don't know what I'm doing here. I just making normal moves. I guess the same thing for Ananas. He doesn't necessarily know what he's doing either. I'm a little concerned about b4 followed by c5. So see if we can prophylactically prevent that somehow. I'm afraid it may be too late. It may just be too late to stop c5. All my time spent for naught. Last time I played Ananas, I had this awful Lasker variation, which was like a forced draw from move one in the Bishop G5 Queen's Gambit. So the more I play that opening, the more I just want to play something new. But this doesn't look very inspiring either. He's going to play b4 followed by c5, basically. If I play a3, he could play either a6 or a5, probably. A3 just seems weakening as well. Do I have any tricks? Yeah, maybe he's not really threatening it yet. b4 knight e4. He still can't play c5. At least not without temporarily sacrificing a pawn. To come together as chess fans. If it's Dutch, you just put a lot of double letters together, right, Owlet? Tournament. The other day I did like a misspelling of tournament with like double A, and I was joking that it was like a Dutch spelling. Alright. You're threatening the nasty c5 now, and if he gets that in, it's like, man, where'd my advantage go? So it looks like I'm forced to play knight e4 here, and we'll see if I can do anything. Rubinstein style. Rubinstein. Highly recommend, if you don't know what to study, man, study that dude's games. I mean, man, in general, for everybody. If you don't know what to study, if you're bored with tactics problems, you know, go back to the basics and study some great players from history. I think the thing that helped me to get better in chess more than anything else is just studying like complete games by masters. You could do yourself a favor by getting like a classic book like 500 Master Games of Chess and just like going through all these like old school games. People are always asking me, what can I do to improve? I really seriously believe this, you know, just classic games. If you don't know what else to do, that's the best way to handle it. All right, so now he still doesn't have c5 yet, but he's threatening knight f6 basically to set up c5. How can I increase my control? If only I could play b4 or something, but it's not possible. Knight e5, the problem is he takes. I guess we have like a tiny advantage there. It's not much though. I'm afraid we're running out of steam after knight e5. But I don't know what else to do. Okay, I'm going to flag. NS has 5 minutes. He's probably played this line a lot more than me. Hey, Soltigo. Wow, did you just wake up? I didn't think we'd see our moderator today. Western Hemisphere peoples. Damn, dude, it's like 6 in the morning. Pawn takes looks ugly for the health of my bishop. We're trying to inhibit black from playing c5, freeing his game. Let's not mull the ancient history there, Bob. Stir up the controversies of the last like 3 decades or something. Let's try to concentrate on chess. preparing c5. How many weaknesses can black really handle here? Man, the double bishop sacrifice. If only I had like a rook on c3 right about now. Just doesn't work. Oh man. Is my queen going to get trapped if I do this? Are you kidding me? Having strange hallucinations. Alright. Annie Bamba. Yeah, let's not start up political controversies in the chess stream, please. Bob, as usual, stirring the pot. Troublemaker, man. It's a good thing our moderator is on the scene. Probing the weaknesses that are the black position. Wonder if I should go to f4. This doesn't really make a difference in the grand scheme of things here. Alright. I'm about to lose on time. Oh man. The Pillsbury bind. Preparing rook h5. Just a joke. But maybe if I get a little more ammo over there with like f4, rook f3, we could seriously consider such an idea. f4, rook f3, then rook h5. Yeah, I guess I should be focusing on the queen side instead of this like illusory king side attack. Ananas again, the picture of time management. Myself as well. He's playing too fast and I'm playing too slow. I feel like it's a mistake for me to trade queens with the control I have over the position. Though I could trade queens there. It might be a better practical decision, like considering the time situation. I probably should have traded queens and then played f4. Or rook c1. But we have a pretty huge advantage now. I believe in space. I think that's a line from a Pixies song. One of my favorite bands of all time. Let's talk about music instead of politics. Now we need to do the classic, the classic principle of two weaknesses, where we have to attack black on the king side to break through. We can't break through directly on one wing. I'm not even sure if I should have even played queen c2. Let's migrate on over to the other side. We're going to need to play, you know, with the pawns on the king side. Not there. Serious about the rook. I have to be careful of an e5 break here too, the breakout. I regret not trading queens. It might have been easier to play there without, you know, fear of making a mistake. No time to commentate. AC/DC. Jesus, I'm not that old. I mean, we listened to AC/DC on the classic rock station when I was a little kid, but not really my thing. I mean, everybody loves AC/DC, right? What are they still like on tour in Australia or something? Ananas getting aggro with me on the king side here. Damn, dude. Are you really serious about that? You could live to regret it. I'm taking my chances with my king on the white square. Maybe that bishop on b7 will come to get me. Hopefully not. But you can never be too sure. It looks like he's in danger of the c6 pawn actually just falling. But then I run into that problem, don't I? Tricky to keep safe from all of his threats. Whoa. Well, what happened here? Oh no. Ananas with a nasty tactical threat there, threatening to mate me. Now he might be holding on. And that's nice. The only move. So what's up in this queen ending? It's complicated. Complicated at least. Yeah. We don't get a lot of queen endings on my stream. Oh, we got a queen trade. Man, epic battle, dude. Epic battle. I'm slipping down, like, in the chair. I almost fell for the mate, dude. That was evil. Did you guys see that? He was gonna checkmate me if I do like the combination the way I wanted to. Here, beautiful shot. You know, so. It looks like I have bishop takes c6, but it's mate, you know. That would be just evil. That is his plan. We managed to survive with just 138 cent pawn loss. Let me see what the opening deal was. Pinter. 2 Hungarians, Rook Robert and Jozef. Actually, I had some lessons with Jozef for a while. So he's only He's my only ever Hungarian chess coach. Mostly we just drank beers together. Alright. So b5, bishop d3. Castles. a6. And Rook and Pinter are both only Hungarian grandmasters. Play this position, played a4. What did I do? I played knight e4 right away. Wow. So this is a TN. Stockfish says knight e4 is an improvement on Hungarian grandmasters Rook Robert and Pinter Jozef. Now it's dropped down. Okay, they know better, man. I mean, a4 is a normal move. It's but the only other move that's interesting is this, which is a novelty. So Stockfish says you might be able to play c5. Wow. How does that work? I didn't understand, but okay. Knight c5, knight takes c5, d takes c5. Not clear, is it? Rook c8, bishop b4. What is this? Bishop takes f3, g takes f3, and then knight e5 threatening to triple my pawns. Pretty deep stuff. Tripled pawns. Oh man. This is unclear. Wow. Knight takes b4 or knight takes f4. Well, I guess the triple pawns don't matter if I have a protected passer on the other side. Crazy stuff. At one point, Ananas was better. When I played rook c6, he has rook g6. Ouch. Queen h4. That's weird. Rook g6, queen h4, queen d8. This is a better version of the game. A much better version of the game. Queen d8. This is awkward. So I'm losing the exchange at some point. Didn't have much time left there. Alright. If we don't have any other challengers from the subscribers, I'm going to play some of these other guys. Ananas is a he. He's a he pineapple. The male pineapple. Alright. Nisab. What am I going to play today? I don't really know him. We'll just do our normal default defense. e4, c5. Guys, I'm going to be streaming for another half an hour. I have a simul myself on Sunday. It's 3-hour time control, basically. 40 minutes and 40 seconds per move, plus 25 players, plus. I was going to say plus like it's an increment. It has an increment, 45 seconds. e4, c5. Tonight I play poker. It's my only non-chess night. I am a pineapple. I live with SpongeBob. I am his house. g3. Nice up. I don't remember our other games. When I only play 3 games with someone, it's not enough. When I play 125 games, that's when I start to begin to understand, you know, what I'm dealing with. And then this is a very rare move order. Generally not good in the closed Sicilian to put your knight in front of your f-pawn. But it's playable. I mean, it can be played with colors reversed as well. I think we should do, you know, maybe it's better to do e6 there. I'm not sure. I wonder if I were to play e6, could he sack a pawn with some weird d4 type of gambit, you know? Probably not sound. I just take pawn takes and knight b5, e5. I'm just up a pawn. No, he can't play knight b5. Okay, never mind. He can't do that until he's castled. e6 castles, and then maybe knight e7 d4 could be playable for white. So kind of weird hybrid. Basically, this is like a English reversed, a closed English reversed. Anyone here ever made a Kickstarter? No, I know this one. I saw this one Chessmaster who did it. Like he's doing a Kickstarter for chess teaching, and I think he was getting quite a lot of money doing that. Like he made these like kind of handouts, different like levels of handouts, and you could like pay for it. It was really weird. But I'm not like scheming to make money, so if you guys want to donate via PayPal, that's awesome. But I'm not a scammer. Rook e1. Nice solid position for white, but what's the plan? You know, I mean, you've no f4, and you know, in this kind of closed position, I think that pawn breaks are where it's at. So white doesn't have the pawn break f4. Putting the rook on e1 and playing with the knight in front of his f pawn, he's basically playing with 0 pawn breaks, and therefore it's like hard to open the game, you know, for him. In the meanwhile, maybe I can just like expand on the queen side. Not so many pawn breaks for me, although I guess theoretically I could do like a5, a4, b3, you know, ramming all my pawns down on the queen side. It's not that simple though. Bishop e3, knight d4. Not a traditional setup for white. One thing with the knight on f3, then you have the rook on f1 to support f4, f5. Maybe he could play, instead of rook e1, like, I don't know, knight e1 and f4, or knight d2 and f4, or even knight h4 and f4, or even king h1 and knight g1 and f4. But I mean, that's the general plan. We've got to prevent d4, because if he turns it into an open Sicilian, if I were to play some lame move there, like suddenly rook b8, d4, white has a totally okay position. Then everything would kind of make sense for white. He would be playing a fianchetto version of an open Sicilian, when the rook on e1 would start to make sense, and the knight on f3 would make sense. Yeah, that's my YouTube channel. Alright, I've been busy working on some other stuff for another site. I haven't made any YouTube videos in a while, but I would like to get back to it. Once I finish this project with the Blumenfeld opening series I'm doing, which will probably happen in the next 2 weeks, I'll be done that. I'll be able to maybe start making some YouTube videos once again. So now, okay, he just plays, yeah, he's playing like a defensive setup. B1 guarding the B2 pawn. And I don't really know what's best for black here. You know, how do I make progress? I was talking about his not having breaks. Well, he's kind of playing like he's black. I think he was kind of playing like he was black when he played knight f3. But then again, it's different. It's one thing to equalize, but another thing to take this position and now start playing for a win with black. You know, how do I go about that? Alright, well, my normal strategy in such situations would be to play like b6 maybe in double fianchetto. But it's a little weakening. I almost think like it's better just to develop bishop d7. Very compact. Sometimes put the bishop on c6. I was also thinking about h6. That might have been a good prophylactic move to stop him from playing queen d2 and like bishop h6. This is okay. It's a little bit passive, but again, h6 also weakens my king side. Once I lost a rapid game to this guy Mauricio Ruiz. I remember where he did like h4, h5 against me. In one of these King's Indian attack type of situations. With the knight on f3, that might, you know, it's almost like a King's Indian attack. If you've got possibilities of knight h4, Maybe that almost makes some sense. I think it's time for my position to make a decision. It's a really kind of boring situation. I can play takes on f3 and queen a5. Then he plays a3. My queen is misplaced on a5. Maybe something weird like queen a6. But I've got to do something. e5 is the other possibility. He can actually start thinking about b4. Okay, well, it's a game. I don't know. You make a decision. Arthur Bisgeier, who died recently, he used to say this weird phrase, you pays your money and you takes your choice. This was like a Carney saying. If you win a prize, you could like pay your money and like pick the prize of your choice. I guess you just gotta you gotta just make a decision, in other words. Pick a move. Like, I could play e5. Sometimes it's hard to know. You just have to make a move. e5, knight takes f3. Now, next question, do I want to trade pieces or not, in the situation? He's threatening to break through with d4. And I think that he's going to do that pretty effectively. But maybe I can get something going in time to stop it. Knight takes f3, but it's like, how am I going to stop d4 after that? Knight takes f3, bishop takes f3, bishop c6, d4, and then something like cd, cd, d5. Got to meet him like tit for tat. And make my bishop on d7 make some sense. f5 would be nice, but I'm just hanging my b7 pawn. If he plays b4, I'll play b6, I guess. It's equal. We don't have an advantage, and white hasn't made any serious mistake. It's really hard. Really hard to beat the closed Sicilian. CD would be good. I mean, ED would be good if his rook were on A1. That's a Dvoretsky trick, but opening my bishop on the long diagonal. It may not be bad, actually. ED, CD, D5. Pawn takes D5, knight takes D5. Yeah, maybe. Maybe we don't have to really count this pawn as hanging on C5, because he can't have time to really exploit it. This makes the position a little more imbalanced too. White's basically played perfectly, except for slightly odd move knight f3. He's played perfect chess. So he's also from Hungary. I forgot about that. Sab, as in Szabolcs, or Szabolcsi. Szabolcs is a very typical Hungarian name. So far, white's super solid. Not much here yet for me. Knight takes d5, pawn takes c5, knight takes e3, queen takes, rook takes. Black's pieces look superficially active. I did lose to Nisab once. It was in my simul. Maybe I lost on time or something. Looks like an equal position there. So, D takes c5, knight takes e3, queen takes rook, rook takes, a rook takes. Then he takes on c6. I have a strong bishop against knight, and I'm temporarily down a pawn there. I'm not worse, but it may be a draw, I'm afraid. Very likely that's a draw. I made the same realization last time. It's just not enough information. You see NY and you just automatically think New York. It's like the biggest city in the world. Alright, knight c3. That's a surprise. Yeah, I think you should just eat this pawn on c5 and force me to simplify into like what's probably a drawn ending. Knight c3 I'm not so sure about. I mean, maybe it's good too, but it looks like I'm taking on e3 and just winning a pawn. I think this just wins a pawn. So you dropped a pawn there unnecessarily. Unless I missed something. There may have been something better for me. After d takes c, but I don't see it. What is it? Where is it? My pieces feel active, but you know, I mean, the other question is, should he take on d5? He could push to e5. Maybe that was more complicated. I would play knight f5 there with good pressure on his pawn chain. Now he's close to losing a piece. I guess he can blockade. Unfortunately. We could definitely sack the queen here. Yeah, I guess we just win by sacking our queen. Is it so easy? Well, it's pretty strong, I think. I guess he could have taken on c6 instead of taking my queen. The threat of this pawn is like devastating. And Nysop can't afford to lose another piece. It would be too much material, like a rook and two bishops for a queen. But I don't think he has any other moves. Queen e2, rook e8, and it's just over. Now he's just down a piece. Okay guys, we have time for another game or two. Maybe just one, I'm not sure. We can hold all the material. The very awkward c5, c4. In any endgame where there's like less than 3 pieces left for both sides, it's usually right to centralize the queen. I like how King Chaser always shows up last. How does, you're welcome for the game, how does he do that? King Chaser, you just like, you know how to get in there. I don't think you're going to make it today though, buddy. King Chaser did play last night, last game. Arthur Garexi. So Garexi is like SXPG. He's fast. He's challenged me to the fastest time control I'm going to play. Alright, let's play b3. Try to take him out of his preparation. Maybe against fast players it's a good idea to confuse them in the opening. Make them think a little bit. They don't like that. They like to be able to just churn out automatic moves blindly. E6 is, well, probably not a bad move. A bit weird. SXPG played in a tournament on Tuesday. I think that's the same guy, because someone made a reference to the... What's Guraxi? Is that a programming thing? HGGG. G. Soltigo, admirable, helping others. Being a moderator is helping us here. Now this transposes to some of these Chigorin. Sometimes I get Chigorin players or people trying to play the Chigorin against my King's Indian attack. The games will typically start out like knight f3, d5, g3, knight c6. And that's kind of what this looks like now. Maybe we should go on the queen side, get a little play over there. He's bringing his knight off of c6, which shows good positional understanding. The knight is not well placed there. Maybe now knight d2, stopping knight e4. I could also play bishop a3, but that drops a piece. We're not ready to do that. If I castle, he castles, then bishop a3. The thing about doing bishop a3, you know, that bothers me is like you're trading pieces. You know, in a position where you have more space. That's the question. Is that a good thing or not? I'd rather just keep all the pieces on the board here. I mean, the Stonewall Dutch, maybe that's like one thing. If the pawn is up on f5, you know, black has this huge weakness on e5. Then trading the dark squared bishops really exposes the dark squares, but he doesn't have that many weaknesses. So I don't think playing something like bishop a3 would be really appropriate. It's not as strong against like this Catalan type of thing. Black hasn't played f5. I was thinking he was going to do something berserk like h5. You see that all the time. It's insane, but you know, probably I would play h4 or h3 to kind of stop it. It's not really correct for black to try to do that sort of primitive caveman type of h5, h4 in any old position. Seeking counterplay on the queen side. So e4, can I get an e4 as some kind of pawn sack? Pawn sack. No. Knight takes, he'll just take and support it with f5. I have to actually properly support e4 to be able to play it. And then the question is with a rook or queen. Rook e1. Rook e1, Daniel Friedman style. Or queen c2. How do I want to support e4? How do you like your e4s? I guess it's all good. Basically, my rooks belong in the center anyway. That's what I should probably do. But Arthur is, if he's SXPG, he's kind of a fast, tricky player, but capable of playing well. So anyway, guys, I have a simul on Sunday. It's the usual 6:30 p.m. CET. I really appreciate the subscriptions and helping the stream keep going. We've got pretty much our maximum subscribers. I'm off for a day tomorrow, and we'll be back on Sunday. Alright, we got 15 minutes left, so I think it's time for one more game. Whoever that may be against. I'm not sure. I don't think it's King Chaser. He played last game last night. He's not going to make it. E4. Yeah, B5. You can play C5 here. I mean, I do have very good control of the position. So playing C5 and E4. Though in general, I like, in general, I don't like releasing the tension. Just I'm a little concerned he'll get counterplay with the B file, objectively, like E4, B takes C, B takes C. It's like, I've got a tournament coming up in December. It's a strong tournament, like a low category GM tournament. Miklos Galiash is an international master who he always plays the A6 Slav against me, and it's hard, man. I mean, he did that once where he just does like B5 and B takes C and B takes C and Rook B8, and that's annoying, I have control of this position. If I give him that line, he'll start to have this annoying counterplay all the time. With C5, I just keep him kind of smashed down. On the other hand, there are drawbacks too. Obviously, he has the D5 square, but I think we have excellent control of the position here overall. We'll slowly have to beat him on the king side. That's basically all we got. We should have the upper hand, though, with this dominating control of E5. The risk is that it gets so blocked up that nobody can make progress. Queen F6 is a surprising move. I don't think particularly relevant. My assumption would be that he wants to try to trade queens. But the queen is like outside the pawn chain here in a very exposed position. I'm definitely not trading queens, 100%. Now, borderline positional suicide, but the problem again is like it's so blocked. If I play knight e5 and he takes, extremely hard to break through. But we're getting very, very low on time. We're going to need to redeploy the c1 bishop to d2, work both sides of the street, so to speak. This is the key idea, I guess. We do have a4 opening up the queen side. Eventually he was going to play this. I've got to be careful. I was thinking about f3 before. Yeah, now trading queens, starting f2 to break through down here. Trading queens looks okay for me. Can't take with the pawn. Took with the rook. Now I have basically the same position without the issue of, well, we're winning a pawn here. Opposite color bishops are on the board, but it's pretty tough for black. I mean, maybe this is a draw, but it's not going to be an easy draw for black. And as I mentioned before, opposite color bishops and rooks, it's usually an exchange sacrifice that does the other side in. This looks pretty nasty now. He probably should have played bishop c6 there. We've got everything under control. We'll just slowly improve. Maybe I have just c6 there. Last move. It's got to be winning for white. Tricky though. He's even finding bishop c8, attacking my pawn. We just I could have just taken on h6. Whoops. Oh well. Pre-move. It was a pre-move. I think we're winning here pretty handily. Semi Zugzwang. Zugzwang. Alright, that's suicide. Now it's another pawn. He's just lost. 0 counterplay. Alright guys, last game coming up. Too much space, too many too much space, too many pawns. But we don't want to underestimate the GRXY. I was looking for more. Oh well, we'll just settle for that free bishop. Let's have a moment of silence for my opponent's position. A moment of silence in memory of my opponent's position. Alright, HGGG, we haven't played in a while. This will be the last one for today. Sorry, King Chaser. We are out of here. Oh, HGGG, did you used to play in Simul's or not? Yeah, you have played once. Only once. Can I join you to play poker? Are you in Budapest? Are you a Hungarian? That's why you're HG? HG. Is that why your name is HG? Because you're Hungarian? Or just coincidence? That would be a weird thing to name yourself. HGGG. What am I doing here? Okay, we're playing this weird line. Actually, this is funny. I thought that this was trash for black. But actually, there was a guy I had a lesson with a few months ago who showed me this game he had against some really strong IM or title player. It turns out that this variation is actually got a following for black. I always thought it was like nothing, but actually it's pretty weird. This is a playable variation. It should be examined. I don't normally play this line. I don't know why I decided. I guess I'm just kind of tired, but I never really played d4 for whatever reasons the last game, and I thought I'll just play whatever. But anyway, now that we're here, I remember, I can't remember the name of my student's opponent. My student is like a solid player, like 2100, and he had this variation, and when he showed it to me, I was like, no, that's not good for black. And then I looked it up, and there's all these games. In the books, like, this variation didn't exist until the 21st century, practically. But now people with computer analysis have come to realize You can play almost like Sveshnikov style. The logic was that, okay, this is not really good for black because you know, there's no pawn on e4, and white can like play g3 and bishop g2 and get really nasty pressure on the white square. So I guess all players thought that this is like nothing for black, but it turns out this is actually a legitimate variation. Here I don't know. Again, it's like Sveshnikov. Should I take on f6 or play play knight a3 and then wait to try to exploit the pin? And I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. It's interesting. So it's not at all bad for black. I'm not sure though. I guess he had to play a6, right? Yeah, this must be a critical line. But if you look in the lichess database or chessbase or something, if you look 20 years ago, there'd be almost no games and 0 games in this position. Now it's like a legitimate variation. Weird, but why not, you know? So I learned something. He's putting pressure on the c4 pawn, kind of like Kalashnikov or I don't know, whatever. I really want to play like g3, but then my c4 pawn is hard to keep protected. g3, probably still it's the right move, no? Anyway, guys, I'll be back on Sunday, so stay tuned for that. It's a long simul, 3 hours. No game this week in the Hungarian Team Championship. I don't even have a game in the Budapest team. There's no Budapest Team Championship, nothing. So another week off. Queen d7, while it's natural in this type of setup with the bishop on e6 normally, I think this might be a mistake for black here because he's got dual weaknesses at d5, at b6 and f6. I can play knight d5 now with a double threat. Or I can wait and save it for later, basically. The problem with that, he could actually, as stupid as it looks, like go back to d8 with the queen. Then I play knight c2, revolving around. I don't know. Do I want his queen to remain on d7? He has some ideas of playing bishop h3, but I don't think that's a problem. Maybe we'll just develop our pieces. If I play bishop g2, he plays bishop h3. Then I could play knight d5. That would be awkward. Speaking of awkward, that would be the time to play it, right? Bishop h3, knight d5. But I'm not sure if I even have a threat in that case. Then bishop e7. No, then I take on, yeah, that's something. So it's actually a form of double threat. Alright, I wasted enough time here. It is a fast game, 5 + 5. Soltigo is kind of a self-taught player, so he has some holes in his game, more so than most people. Not being trained in the Botvinnik school. But he's talented. Now what do I do? Bishop e7 was played. We just, we don't know. Knight c2 drops the c4 pawn. Well, that's why I'm saying this is a legitimate variation. It's actually not bad for black. Huh. Now knight d5. Now he has bishop d8, though. It's like it would have been better to play it before. I feel like an idiot now. I mean, bishop d8 isn't like optimal, but You know, I may just let him check me on a5. I have b4. It's a bit weird. No, he can't check on a5. So bishop d8, knight c2. And then we're waiting for black to, I guess, play bishop h3. We decide what to do there. He's taking a lot of time. There's also knight d4, I guess. Well, he's got this. I'm threatening knight b6. Yeah, I think this is a mistake for black. Tempting, but it feels like a mistake. I have a permanent outpost on d5, and I have a better ops-colored bishop than black. The temptation is to get rid of that strong piece on d5, but I think you have to just bite the bullet and play bishop d8 here, and live with that unpleasant piece on d5, because it really can't do anything to you. It's hard to keep the tension in chess, but I think most commonly that's the most common mistake amongst chess players, like releasing the tension when it's not necessary. Now I castled, I didn't feel his attack is really dangerous without the white square bishop. He still has some potential threats. I don't know whether to play h4 or not. Probably it's a good move. Yeah. What about knight d4? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I missed knight d4 there. That might have been unpleasant for me. Now he's slowly gonna get structural issues with his pawn on h5. Had he played knight d4, I would have been in an uncomfortable situation. Rook e1. Again, queen trade. Kind of like last game. Don't really want to trade queens. I'm definitely not taking on e6. I can play queen d2. But trading queens doesn't totally erase his disadvantage either. I also have some funky moves like rook c1, but that's kind of weird. Now how am I going to get my a3 knight into the game? Yo. It's going to be a little difficult to get the a3 knight in the game here. Yeah, that's awkward. Black has some counterplay now after queen e6. It was a cagey move and a good idea, and now you can play f5. This problem knight messing me up, man. I have no knight c2, knight e3 anymore. So it's a difficult position. I'm not even sure I'm really better. I don't know what I was supposed to play there. I have no clue, actually. Maybe something not trading queens. Okay, I'm officially like freaking out now. I'm screwing up this position really, really badly. Now I have some serious issues after e4. I'm gonna have to take drastic action, it looks like. Play f4. This is ugly. Damn, dude, he's better now. He's actually just better now. If the knight comes to e5, my position is crushed there. Maybe he's not better, but I have to be extremely careful not to be worse. My knight is in outer Mongolia. He has some threats on the king side potentially. You gotta watch out here for that. I don't like this at all. Black is just better now. I totally screwed this up. And he's playing this game really well. Ooh, this is unpleasant. Damn, dude. Wicked attacking chances for black now. I'm just kind of hanging on by a thread. Whoa, what is that? Wow. Oh my goodness. Getting scary in here. That's a weird move, though. I was expecting queen e5. I probably had stronger. I could have played d6, winning a piece. We're both starting to blunder here in time pressure. I missed d6, it looks like. I was pretty much like pre-moving rook f4. Like that. Well, at least now it's not clear. Maybe I'm even better. I'm not sure. I'm up a pawn. Probably not really better, though. I was up a pawn until this move. Yeah, it was an interesting game, but we both played a lot of bad moves here in like the last 7 or 8 moves. Missing tactics. You were just better. Almost winning, it looks like. This is where it started to go downhill for me. The computer doesn't panic, though. It thinks I'm still better. I was panicking here. I saw 95 and I was freaking out. The engine says I shouldn't panic and just play a solid move. But I played f4, kind of compromising my whole position. Now he's definitely good. As usual, I'm pessimistic, but it's good to be pessimistic. Then you're always better than you think, which is good. Knight g4, h takes g4. So he's not winning, but he's slightly better here. Instead of d5, queen e5, massaging my position. I was even like scared he might have some kind of piece sacrifice. So check this out. Bishop takes h4, man. It looks like that's playable. I'm not surprised. I was terrified of some kind of tricks only type of bullshit sacrifice here. Look, black's better. It's very hard to defend with white here. I'm basically playing a knight down. Knight on a3, hard to get into the game. This might even be winning. Stockfish doesn't see it, but like intuitively I knew. I just felt it, you know. Like this rook could even come across laterally if you play f6 or something. Good game, man. All right, we're going to be back on Sunday with more chess here on lichess with a simul. On Sunday, it's 6:30 p.m. CET, 25 players. Thanks Soltigo for moderating. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Thanks for playing and subscribing. Have a good weekend. Later. Bye-bye.